Hello. Thanks for visiting my channel, Happiness in Life Today Edification. Happiness in life is a state of joy, contentment, and well being, involving positive emotions, purpose, strong relationships, self acceptance, and resilience, achieved through mindful daily actions like gratitude, kindness, exercise, meaningful goals, and savoring experiences, rather than a constant state of euphoria. It's about finding balance and meaning in life's ups and downs, with over half of our happiness coming from controllable choices and attitudes. Finding happiness with God involves building a life centered on a relationship with God, shifting focus from external circumstances to internal contentment, gratitude, and obedience. True joy stems from studying scripture, praying, and trusting God's promises rather than seeking worldly validation. Key practices include daily service, loving others, and aligning with God's will. My intentions for this channel are to exhort, using soft encouragement to motivate us all to continue moving forward with God in our life, teaching to create our lives full of happiness by applying blessings of God that created us, discipline, and positive affirmations to everyday life situations. In the Bible, Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares God that created us, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." We are choosing to be happy. We are not giving up building our beautiful lives. So cheer up. Things will all work out as long as we keep positive to uplift ourselves. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I'm here to motivate us all to enhance our lives to a happier state of life through life lessons that come out randomly through topic of the day using my own discretion. We are choosing to build our lives full of happiness with God that created us. And with that, hopefully this topic will relate with you. I would appreciate it if you would get involved in the comments with your experience, if you have any, with the topic of the day. It's nice to know there are others in the world committed to being a better version of themselves and are motivated to keep moving forward. Happiness is the key. So please subscribe, like, comment, and share this life lesson if it motivates you or to motivate another. And I just want to say thank you. And please donate to the channel. Sow into me as I sow into you. So let's get into the life lesson of the day. And the life lesson of the day is one moment. The life lesson of the day is focus on the ones who love you. Hmm? Some people may not love you. So focus your energy on the ones who do. You'll be a whole lot happier because of it. This quote means you should stop worrying about people pleasing, okay? Or pleasing everyone or winning the approval of those who don't appreciate you. By directing your time, love, and attention toward the people who already support and value you, you reduce unnecessary stress and significantly boost your overall happiness and peace of mind. This quote is a powerful reminder to break the cycle of people pleasing. It means you should stop draining your emotional energy to win over people who don't truly appreciate you. By consciously investing your time in those who support and value you, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and unlock genuine peace of mind. Okay? The core lessons behind this philosophy include your worth isn't tied to approval. Trying to please everyone means hiding your authentic self just to make others comfortable. True confidence comes from within, not from external validation. Constantly trying to make everyone else happy requires you to suppress your own personality, boundaries, and values. True self assurance isn't earned by getting applause or approval from the outside world. It comes from knowing, trusting, and honoring yourself. So, breaking that down, okay? Hiding your authentic self. People pleasing often involves putting on a mask. When you alter your opinions, hide your quirks, or shrink yourself to fit into what others expect, you sacrifice your individuality. People pleasing is a form of self abandonment. It describes how constantly molding your personality to make others comfortable forces you to trade away your unique identity for temporary approval. Putting on a mask. This refers to building a representative or a false persona rather than showing your raw, unfiltered self. You act as a mirror to reflect what others want to see instead of who you truly are. Shrinking yourself. This happens when you silence your voice, downplay your ambitions, or hide your quirks out of fear of being too much. Okay? It involves watering yourself down to fit into rooms or relationships that do not truly value or accept you. Sacrificing individuality. When you prioritize external validation over your own truth, you lose touch with your core values and personal boundaries. You stop living a life aligned with your own desires and start living one dictated by others. The heavy emotional toil of people pleasing. While it may win you temporary liking or avoid conflict, the ultimate cost is your peace of mind and the integrity of your true self. Okay? The problem with external validation. When you base your self worth on whether others are happy or impressed with you, you give them the remote control to your self esteem. And because external opinions change, this leaves you in a constant, exhausting cycle of chasing approval. Your confidence fluctuates based on what others think of you. Because opinions are constantly changing, you become a people pleaser, caught in an exhausting cycle of performing for praise. You are handing over the remote. You surrender control of your emotional state to others, and if they are impressed, you feel good. If they are displeased or simply distracted, your mood instantly crashes. Okay, unpredictability. People's moods and preferences shift frequently. Building self-esteem on such an unstable foundation means you constantly feel insecure. So it leads you to be in a cycle of chasing, just like taking a drug. External praise provides only a temporary high. Once it wears off, you are forced to seek out the next compliment to feel good enough again. Okay? Confidence from within. Genuine confidence means being anchored in your own self respect. It is built on self awareness, personal integrity, and accepting your flaws. When you validate yourself, you don't need external applause to feel valuable. So, spending your time chasing the attention of people who don't worry about you empties your emotional reserves. Your emotional energy is limited, and constantly seeking validation from people who do not value or reciprocate your efforts will quickly cause burnout. So, in practical terms, it is a reminder to protect your boundaries. Stop investing time in one sided relationships where your presence isn't appreciated. Refocus your priorities. Direct your emotional reserves toward people who actively support and care about you. Practice selective attention. Recognize that chasing unbothered or indifferent individuals drain the emotional energy you need for your own well being and personal growth. Setting boundaries. Saying no is an act of self respect. It protects your time and allows you to give you your best energy to the people who truly deserve it. It protects your time and allows you to give your best energy to the people who truly deserve it. Okay? So the blessing of the day is coming out of the Bible, book Luke, chapter 6, verse 45. Okay? A good man brings good things out of the good stored up in his heart. And an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in his heart. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. And we're going to define that blessing, okay? The verse, Luke chapter 6, verse 45, means that your words and actions are natural reflections of your inner character. Just like an overflowing cup spills what is inside, your unfiltered reactions reveal the thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes you harbor deep within. The quote emphasizes several core principles. You can't hide your true self. While someone might put on a temporary mask or fake their behavior, the truth will eventually slip out through their spontaneous speech and everyday actions. The heart as a storehouse. In biblical terms, the heart represents the center of your thoughts, desires, and moral choices. What you repeatedly consume, dwell on, or store up is exactly what you will produce when put under pressure. Speech reveals the inside. You don't have to guess what is going on in a person's core. You simply need to listen to how they regularly speak about others, how they handle conflict, and what they talk about in casual conversation. This is a call for self reflection. It suggests that if a person wants to improve the quality of their interactions and the fruit they bring into the world, they must focus on purifying and filling their inner life, which is their heart, with positive and healthy values. All right. So I'm going to add this title and the blessing, okay, together here. Okay. I'm going to separate them though. Okay. So let's first talk about focus on the ones who love you. A good man brings good things out of good stored up in his heart. Okay. So when you focus on the ones with good in their heart, all right, this is a phrase. This phrase is a direct reference, okay, with the biblical teaching of Luke chapter 6, verse 45, meaning a person's words and actions are natural reflections of their inner character. Just like a tree reveals its nature through its fruit, what you consistently hold in your heart will naturally overflow into how you live and love. So when the heart is filled with good, they typically do things such as, these people, they with good in their heart do certain things, okay? When the heart is filled with good, a person naturally reflects that positivity through their daily actions. Their goodness usually manifests in genuine, consistent behaviors that benefit both themselves and the people around them. A person with a good heart typically does the following: helps without expecting a return. They offer support, time, and resources purely out of kindness rather than looking for a reward. This describes altruism or unconditional generosity. It means actively acting purely out of empathy and a genuine desire to improve someone else's well-being without any expectation of recognition, reciprocation, or personal gain. Here are the key characteristics of this behavior. Selflessness. The focus remains entirely on the needs of the recipient. No hidden motives. There is no quid pro quo. Okay, helping someone with the expectation that they will owe you a favor later. Okay, intrinsic reward. The only reward expected is the internal satisfaction of having done a good deed. Speaks with kindness and truth. Because their thoughts are positive, their words tend to be uplifting, encouraging, and free of malice. Practices empathy. They usually put themselves in other people's shoes and respond with compassion and understanding. Radiates gratitude. They appreciate the little things and tend to view the world with a sense of wonder and optimism. Forgives easily. They choose to let go of bitterness and resentment, allowing them to maintain peace and move forward. Shows humility. They perform good deeds quietly, not needing or asking for recognition or praise. The phrase, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, okay, is universally known as the golden rule. So those people here, that tend to do good, okay, tend to follow the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Okay, it is the founding principle of the ethics of reciprocity, reciprocity, meaning you should treat people the exact same way you desire to be treated. Okay, um, the three forms. reciprocity. The golden rule operates as a moral guide in three distinct ways. The positive form: treat others as you would like to be treated. If you want respect, be respectful first. The negative form: do not do to others what you would not want done to you. Okay. If you hate being lied to, do not lie to others. Okay. And the empathetic form: put yourself in the other person's shoes before taking action. Okay. So just remember, okay, with this, we have to establish boundaries. Selfless giving should not drain your resources or self respect. It is perfectly healthy to say no if a request compromises your own well being. Practice discernment before jumping into a situation. Ensure your help is actually what the individual needs rather than what you assume they need. When someone repays your kindness with cruelty, okay, we're getting into something else here. Your priority should be protecting your own peace and dignity. You do not have to lower your standards, but you shouldn't let yourself be taken advantage of. The best approach is to step back, set firm boundaries, and focus your energy on people who actually value you. Here are a few ways to handle the situation. Set clear boundaries. Establishing limits on how others are allowed to behave is essential. Communicating which behaviors are not tolerable can help maintain personal dignity. And distancing yourself. If a person repeatedly demonstrates a lack of respect, creating space is a valid option. Adjusting the level of interaction can be necessary for maintaining mental well being. Okay? So treating people the way they treat you is a double edged sword. And we're going to talk about that. Treating people the way they treat you is a double edged sword. While it's a valid way to protect your peace and establish boundaries, matching negative behavior can drag you down to their level. It is usually best to practice a mix of grace for the mistakes and firm boundaries for their disrespect. Applying this philosophy effectively comes down to a few core behavioral frameworks. Okay? The you teach people how to treat you rule. Okay? Psychologists emphasize that what you tolerate, you encourage. Okay? If you accept rudeness, you will get more of it. Huh? Okay? The action clearly state that what you will and will not allow using I statements. Clearly state what you will and will not allow using I statements. Okay, that's the action we should take. Okay, the consequence: if someone consistently crosses lines, limit your access to them rather than attacking them. Okay, and the golden rule versus the platinum rule. Most of us grew up with the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. However, human relation experts point out that people have different needs and personalities. So shift toward the platinum rule: treat others the way they want to be treated, as long as it aligns with your personal values. Okay? So energy matching versus misalignment. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Energy matching versus misalignment. Matching someone's exact energy can be a powerful tool for self preservation, okay? But doing so blindly often leads to toxicity, okay? The good. Okay, matching positive energy, matching enthusiasm, warmth, and respect builds strong reciprocal relationships. The bad. Matching negative energy, returning insults, silent treatments, or pettiness creates endless loops of conflict. Okay? The mirror effect: boundaries over retaliation. Instead of retaliating to teach someone a lesson, use the mirror effect to protect yourself. If they give you the silent treatment, don't fight back. Simply disengage and give them space. Okay? If they disrespect your time, pull back your availability. Okay? All right. That's the mirroring effect here. Okay? With boundaries. So treating people the way they treat you is a double edged sword. Let's look further at the meaning, okay? Treating people the way they treat you is a strategy often referred to as the golden rule in reverse. While it can protect you from being taken advantage of and promote healthy boundaries, it often escalates conflict and stifles opportunities for forgiveness or growth. What it means. At its core, this approach makes your behavior conditional. Instead of leading with your own core values, consistent kindness, respect, or empathy, you mirror the actions and energy the other person directs toward you. Treating people the way they treat you, often called the tit for tat, okay? Treating people the way they treat you, often called the tit for tat approach or the golden rule in reverse, acts as a double edged sword because it quickly levels the playing field, but risks escalating toxicity. It protects your boundaries, but can trap you in a never ending cycle of negativity. Okay? The tit for tat approach is a communication trap. It relies on mirroring negative behaviors to even the score. While it may feel empowering, okay, initially to establish boundaries, it replaces mutual empathy with a competitive mindset, frequently escalating minor disagreements into endless toxic power struggles. Treating people exactly as they treat you is a highly effective way to set immediate boundaries. But it often backfires into hilarious petty welfare. I'm gonna read that again. Treating people exactly as they treat you is a highly effective way to set immediate boundaries, but it often backfires into hilarious, petty warfare. Okay? So check out these funny examples of the tit for tat approach in action. Okay? All right. This is the refrigerator war. All right. After a coworker repeatedly stole your clearly labeled $4 yogurt, you retaliated by eating their $12 artisanal smoked salmon. Okay. Now the break room fridge resembles a high stakes hostage negotiation. Okay? All right. That's the pettiness. Okay? Hilarious petty warfare. All right? Also, here, the passive aggressive playlist. Okay? Your roommate blasts music at 2 a.m. Instead of knocking, you wait until 7 a.m., okay? Their prime sleeping hour. And blast aggressive polka music through the floorboards, all right? Tit for tat, okay? The email reply all, okay? A colleague CCs your boss on a petty email to make you look bad. So you respond to the entire thread with a polite thanks and attach an even more detailed breakdown, okay? Meaning you added more people, dragging the whole office into your drama. So you just added all of the whole office so everybody can be in your drama, okay? So that's the tit for tat pettiness. That's hilarious, okay? Okay, the Festivus grievance. A neighbor constantly blows leaves into your pristine driveway. You don't say anything. You just meticulously blow them all back at 3 a.m. while wearing a bathrobe. Tit for tat. All right. Okay, now the upside, the helpful edge of the sword, okay? Establishes boundaries. It immediately signals to others that you will not tolerate disrespect, preventing you from being taken advantage of. That's when you do the tit for tat. But this is the upside, how it can do that. That means they're going to stop doing it immediately. All right. They ain't like the way it felt. So you just established it quick, okay? It ensures fairness. It promotes balanced, reciprocal relationships where effort and kindness are mutually shared. Now, deters mistreatment. People often think twice about mistreating you when they realize they will receive the exact same treatment in return. So they're going to think twice about doing that again because they didn't like the way it felt. Okay? All right. Now, the downside, the dangerous edge of that sword. Okay? Spirals into conflict. If someone is rude and you respond with rudeness, it usually provokes them to escalate further, resulting in a toxic cycle. Stifles forgiveness. It leaves no room for grace, misunderstandings, or people having a genuinely bad day. Erodes your character. Reacting poorly to bad behavior forces you to compromise your own values and act in ways you likely aren't proud of. Hmm? So, when to apply it versus when to avoid it. Use it with energy vampires. You do this to energy vampires or chronic manipulators or selfish individuals who only take and never give. Matching their distance protects your peace. Okay? Avoid it with good friends. Okay? You don't do this to good friends, romantic partners that are good. Okay? Or family members during a one off argument. Okay? Because, sometimes you just have one off argument. Okay? In close relationships, responding with matching hostility usually destroys the bond. Only focus on the ones who love you. All right? So that's what we ought to do. Okay? So this means focus only on authentic love. Okay? Because authentic love is unforced. A good person who truly loves you doesn't need to be forced to show it. Kindness, patience, and affection will flow naturally because that is the treasure they carry within them. Actions reflect character. How someone treats you tells you exactly what is stored inside of them, not your own self worth. Okay? You will experience their goodness through their consistent support and grace. Protect your peace by focusing your energy on those whose hearts overflow with positive intentions. You surround yourself with genuine care rather than toxic, forced relationships. Safeguarding your inner calm by being intentional about who and what you allow into your life. Positive intentions, surrounding yourself with people who genuinely care for you, root for your success, and interact with you out of love rather than agendas, hidden agendas. Okay? Rather than, and interact with you out of love rather than hidden agendas. Genuine care. Relationships built on mutual respect, trust, and reciprocity. Do away with toxic forced relationships. We ought to do away with toxic forced relationships. Connections that leave you feeling small, exhausted, or obligated to keep the peace without receiving the same support in return. Okay? That's what we need to do away with. Okay? Toxic and forced relationships are draining connections where you constantly feel small, exhausted, or pressured to keep the peace. You give far more support than you receive, often sacrificing your own well being to maintain the dynamic. These connections share several defining characteristics. Okay, the one way street. You offer consistent emotional labor, time, or resources, but your needs are ignored or dismissed when you ask for help. Emotional exhaustion. Interactions leave you feeling depleted, anxious, or insecure rather than uplifted. Forced obligation. You stay out of a sense of guilt, fear, or conflict, or pressure to maintain appearances rather than genuine desire. Loss of autonomy. You frequently walk on eggshells, censor your opinions, or abandon your boundaries to prevent the other person from getting upset. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward reclaiming your energy, setting firm boundaries, or re-evaluating whether the connection deserves your time is crucial for your mental health. Ultimately, it is a reminder that your time and energy are limited, and you have the right to choose who gets access to them. These phrases are rooted in biblical teachings, okay, from the gospel, specifically addressing how your inner character directs your actions and advising you to surround yourself with supportive people, okay? So now let's talk about when you focus on the ones who you think love you, all right? When it comes to an evil man, brings evil things out of the evil stored up in his heart, okay? So when you focus on the ones with evil in their heart, an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in his heart. Okay? The heart represents your inner thoughts and character. And over time, what you feed your mind and soul is stored up inside you. Actions are a reflection of what's inside. Just as a tree produces fruit based on its nature, people naturally reveal their true character through their words and actions. The overflow: when someone faces pressure, anger, or temptation, what comes out of them, their reactions, speech, and deeds, is simply the overflow of what they have been storing in their heart. When the heart is filled with evil, a person inevitably produces harmful actions and words. According to biblical teachings, these actions represent the overflow of that inner condition. They typically do things such as speaking defiling words. So, out of the heart's abundance, the mouth speaks. This results in slander, gossip, blasphemy, and cursing. Speech acts as an overflow. Just as you cannot squeeze clean water from a dirty sponge, you cannot consistently speak wholesome words if your heart is full of negativity. When you are pressured, angry, or flustered, the things stored up in your heart naturally spill out. The defiling categories: slander and gossip. Speaking maliciously or carelessly behind someone's back reveals a heart that struggles with jealousy, insecurity, or lack of love. Okay, that's slander and gossip, defining the categories here. Blasphemy, defaming God or speaking irreverently indicates a rebellious or hardened spiritual condition. Cursing, using vulgar or degrading language, points to a lack of inner self control and often indicates unresolved frustration. The solution: you cannot permanently fix destructive speech by just trying to bite your tongue. The saying implies that to change your words, you must change what is inside your heart, often requiring a shift in what you focus on, value, and feed your mind with. Okay? So committing harmful acts, okay, the inner condition leads to major transgressions like theft, murder. This is what evil people do here. Okay. Murder. They do things like this. The inner condition leads to major transgressions. Okay. So these evil people commit to harmful acts. Okay. Transgressions like theft, murder, adultery, and other forms of sexual immorality. When core principles like empathy, self control, and respect for others erode, the resulting internal condition manifests in devastating external behaviors. Rather than isolated accidents, major transgressions are the natural overflow of unchecked desires, deep seated resentment, and moral decay. Okay, we're still talking about evil people. Okay, so we're going to talk about theft and fraud. When a person prioritizes their own immediate gratification over the rights of others, it leads to stealing. They will actively deprive others of their livelihoods, property, or peace of mind. This manifests through deceitful business practices, exploitation of the vulnerable, or outright robbery. Murder and violence. When harboring unchecked anger, malice, or a hardened heart, a person will seek to harm or even eliminate those they view as obstacles or enemies. This ranges from verbal abuse and character assassination to the ultimate transgression of violently taking another human's life. We have to be careful because these people don't even display this. Evil people, so you can't even tell sometimes. We have to be careful. Okay? Adultery and sexual immorality. When an individual gives way to unchecked lust and covetousness, they disregard boundaries and commitments. They will engage in illicit sexual acts, break marriage covenants, exploit others for sexual gratification, and prioritize selfish desires at the cost of destroying families and inflicting deep emotional and psychological trauma on others. Faith and spiritual traditions consistently warn that all harmful acts begin within the mind and heart before taking physical form. To prevent these major transgressions, the root causes, such as greed, hatred, hatred, and selfish ambition must be addressed at the source. Okay? Faith and spiritual traditions consistently warn that all harmful acts begin within the mind and heart before taking physical form. To prevent these major transgressions, the root causes, such as greed, hatred, and selfish ambition, must be addressed at the source. Okay? Displaying destructive traits. Let's elaborate, shall we? These evil people often act out of greed, malice, arrogance, deceit, and debauchery. When someone is described as displaying destructive traits like greed, malice, arrogance, deceit, and debauchery, it means their core actions and behaviors are harmful to both themselves and the people around them. And here is what those specific behaviors mean in this context here. Okay, greed, which is an intense, selfish desire for wealth, power, or resources, often at the expense of others. Malice, the intention or desire to do evil, causing suffering or inflict harm on someone just for the sake of it. Arrogance, an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities, leading to a disrespectful, haughty attitude towards others. Deceit, the act of lying, misleading, or hiding the truth to trick others for personal gain. Debauchery, indulgence in excessive physical pleasures like heavy substance abuse or reckless sexual behavior that are considered immoral, corrupting, or self destructive. Together, these traits paint a toxic they paint a portrait of a toxic, harmful, or corrupt individual who prioritizes their own desires without any moral restraint. Okay? So, together, these traits, all those traits, okay, paint a portrait of a toxic, harmful, or corrupt individual who prioritizes their own desires without any moral restraint. Okay? Misleading others. These evil people here, okay, with corrupt hearts tend to be quick to judge or condemn others, and their falsehoods can lead followers into a pit. Okay, dishonest or morally corrupt people negatively influence those around them. It breaks down into two core meanings: severe judgment as a cover. Corrupt individuals often judge, blame, or condemn others harshly and quickly. They do this to shift focus away from their own flaws, project their guilt unto others, or position themselves as morally superior. All right? So, leading followers to ruin. The pit is a metaphor for trap, disaster, or moral failure. When people blindly follow the lies, manipulation, or false teachings of a corrupt leader, they end up sharing the same terrible consequences, downfall, or ruin as that leader. Okay? Also, dealing with evil people will lead you to ruin. Okay, so it's not just like false teachings, but just still dealing with evil people will lead you to ruin. Okay, the phrase "dealing with evil people will lead you to ruin" serves as a timeless warning about the profound danger of associating with, enabling, or attempting to outmaneuver individuals who act with malice, deception, or cruelty. This concept is rooted in several critical dynamics that ultimately bring about personal, moral, or professional downfall. Okay? Moral contamination and compromise. When you deal closely with deeply negative or corrupt people, you are often pressured to lower your own ethical standards to level the playing field or survive the interaction. By adopting their ruthless tactics to protect yourself, you slowly compromise your own values, which inherently compromises your integrity. The trap of retaliation. Evil often thrives on conflict. If you respond to malicious behavior with anger, revenge, or retaliation, you are dragged down to their level. This traps you in a cycle of toxicity where their actions dictate your emotional states and behavior, distracting you from your own growth and purpose. Here is how this cycle profoundly impacts your life. Loss of identity. You stop prioritizing your own hobbies, passions, and goals. Your daily behavior is unconsciously tailored to avoid conflict or keep the peace, causing you to lose sight of who you are. Okay? Stagnation. Because your mental and emotional bandwidth is entirely consumed by managing the toxicity, you abandon your own personal growth, career aspirations, and purpose. Okay? So, exploitation and deception. People who act with ill intent do not play by the rules of reciprocity, or fairness. They view others as resources to be exploited. Okay? If you engage in business partnership or close relationships with them, you are highly vulnerable to manipulation, betrayal, and financial or reputational ruin. This passage means that dealing with malicious or exploitative people is fundamentally dangerous because they do not operate on mutual respect, compromise, or basic human decency. Here's a breakdown of the core concepts. They ignore reciprocity and fairness. Normal relationships rely on give and take. Exploitative individuals only take. They will not compromise or return favors. They view people as resources. They lack empathy and see others merely as tools, stepping stones, or targets to get what they want: money, status, or power. The warning: entering into business or close relationships with these individuals guarantees you will eventually be manipulated, betrayed, or harmed financially and socially. And the takeaway: you cannot negotiate or build a healthy connection with someone who lacks a moral baseline. The only way to win is not to play. The only way to win is not to play. Identifying and avoiding these individuals entirely is the only way to protect yourself. Okay? So, collateral damage. Because malicious individuals often operate destructively, being in their orbit brings collateral damage, whether it is being associated with their scandals, bearing the brunt of their vindictiveness, or suffering the fallout of their toxic decision making. Their ruin becomes your ruin simply by association. This statement means that associating with toxic or harmful people will inevitably destroy your own reputation, well being, or success. And because malicious individuals act destructively, anyone connected to them becomes a target and suffers the consequences of their bad behavior. Key consequences of association: guilt by association. When the malicious person is caught in scandals, your credibility is compromised simply because you were in their inner circle. Collateral damage. You often become the target of their vindictiveness or take the blame for their poor choices. Tarnished reputation. Being attached to their toxic decision making creates a ripple effect, dragging you down into their failure or ruin. The passage highlights that proximity to malice is inherently dangerous to your own standing will be ruined simply by being connected to them. Okay, I'm gonna read that again. The passage highlights that proximity to malice is inherently dangerous. Your own standing will be ruined simply by being connected to them. Okay, so the wisdom of disengagement. Okay, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Emphasize that disengagement is often the only way to avoid this fate. Dealing with such people requires setting firm boundaries or removing yourself from the situation entirely rather than attempting to reform or defeat them. Okay? All right. So I'm going to read a scripture. It's dealing with starting your day right. Okay. It's an inspirational scripture here. Okay. So it's coming out of Psalms chapter 143, verse 8. Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you. Show me the way I should go, for to you, which is God, I entrust my life. Okay? And clarification of this scripture. These words are a powerful translation of Psalms 143 verse 8. This passage is a prayer of total surrender, trust, and a plea for divine guidance. It is broken down into four distinct parts here. Okay. So let the morning, okay. This passage is a powerful prayer of surrender and dependence written by King David. It is a request for God's reassuring presence at the start of the day, asking God to provide clear direction when facing life's difficulties. Okay. Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love. Starting the day with the phrase shows a desire to hear from God first. The Hebrew word unfailing love, which refers to God's steadfast covenant faithfulness that never gives up on you, no matter the circumstances. For I have put my trust in you. This is a declaration of faith. It acknowledges that even when you are confused, hurting, or facing difficulties, you choose to rely on God rather than your own understanding or strength, showing me the way I should go. This is a humble request for direction. Life is full of choices and uncertainties, and this asks God to eliminate the correct path and bring clarity to your daily decisions. For to you I entrust my life. This phrase represents ultimate surrender, and trusting your life means letting go of your anxieties and letting go of your own rigid expectations and allowing God that created us, okay's will to lead your steps. Okay. The psalm was reportedly written by King David at a time when King David was overwhelmed and hiding in a cave from enemies. Today, the verse is widely used as a beautiful, calming daily reminder to seek peace and divine direction at the beginning of each day. In short, it is a daily blueprint for starting your day by soaking in God's love that created us. God that created us is love. Renewing your trust in God and yielding your will and allowing God's will that created us to direct your steps. Okay? So start your day outright by focusing on who loves you, dealing with God, with good and evil people. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. I'm going to read that again, okay? Because I'm going to clarify this. So it's advised, okay, that we Start your day out right by focusing on who loves you, dealing with good and evil people. Okay. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. Okay. Now that's putting everything together. This is our life lesson for today. Okay. This message is a practical guide for emotional and spiritual well being. It encourages you to surround yourself with uplifting people and guard your mind while understanding that your own words are a direct reflection of your inner thoughts and character. Breaking down the meaning, focusing on who loves you. Life is too short to surround yourself with negativity or toxic people. By choosing to spend your time with those who cherish and support you, you protect your peace of mind and radiate positivity. Dealing with good and evil people. This is about recognizing the difference between helpful, positive influence and destructive, negative ones. While you should treat everyone with respect, you must be wise about who you let into your inner circle and choose behavior you allow to influence you. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. This wisdom means that your words ultimately reveal your true character, inner beliefs, and motivations. Just as an overflowing cup spills what is inside, a person's speech, especially under pressure, exposes what they truly treasure or hold on to. Ultimately, this saying is a reminder to guard your heart. If you fill your mind with positive, loving, and constructive things, your words and actions will naturally bring encouragement and peace to the world around you. Okay? So, for us doing this here, from a positive, biblical, spiritual, happiness, blessed, and disciplined perspective with God that created us. Okay. So starting your day out right by focusing on who loves you, dealing with good and evil people. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. Coming from a positive, biblical, spiritual, happiness, blessed, and disciplined perspective with God that created us. Okay. This is clarification of that. Okay, starting your day with the focus on God's love provides a powerful shield against the complex world around you. When you anchor your mind in spiritual discipline, you can navigate interactions with both good and evil people while keeping your own heart pure, grounding in divine love. God's love first. Waking up, reminding yourself that you are deeply loved by the Creator, God that created us. Okay? Inner abundance. Fill your mind with scripture, gratitude, and prayer before interacting with the world. Okay? Heart flow. Remember that the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. uh, Dealing with Luke here, coming out of Luke chapter 6, verse 45. Okay, positive outflow. A heart packed with God's peaceful naturally overflows. With God's peace naturally overflows with kind, life-giving words. Dealing with good and evil people. Okay, so cherish the good, celebrate and nurture relationships with encouraging, righteous people. Discern the evil. Recognize toxic, malicious behaviors without letting them corrupt your inner peace. Guard your heart. Do not lower your standards or respond with malice when facing evil people. Spiritual boundaries. Pray for those who mistreat you, but maintain the discipline to walk away from harm. Cultivating happiness and discipline. Okay, this is coming from that perspective. Okay, daily alignment. Spiritual happiness is a choice rooted in faith, not a reaction to your circumstances. Mental discipline. Take control of your thoughts early in the morning to block out negativity. And blessed perspective. View every sunrise as a fresh opportunity to reflect God's light to others. Instead of doing positive affirmations that I normally do at the end here, I'm going to go over the 10 commandments, okay? Because the 10 commandments are still used today, okay? And a lot of this life lesson, if we would go by the 10 commandments, even though we are under grace with God that created us, that we should still implement these in our life, okay? All right, so they serve as a foundational moral compass. With 9 of the 10 principles reiterated in the New Testament to guide our living, and they continue to deeply influence modern legal systems and secular codes of ethic. Okay, so how are the 10 commandments used? Personal morality. Millions of people use the commandments as a daily checklist for ethical behavior, such as avoiding lying, stealing, and murder. Okay. Religious practice. They are regularly read, studied, and integrated into liturgies and educational programs in both synagogues and churches. Okay, legal foundations, secular laws in the Western world, including in the United States, are historically rooted in these concepts, particularly regarding prohibitions against theft, perjury, and murder. Okay, so the core principles. Okay, the commandments, the 10 commandments, are coming out of Exodus chapter 20 or and Deuteronomy chapter 5. Okay, they include: you shall not have no other God before me, putting God first. Okay, you shall not make idols, avoiding the worship of physical or worldly things. Okay, that was number 2. Number 3, you shall not take the Lord's name in vain, showing respect for the divine. Okay? Number 4, remember the Sabbath day, setting aside time for rest and worship. Number 5, honor your father and your mother, respecting family and authority. Commandment number 6, you shall not murder, valuing human life. Number 7, you shall not commit adultery, maintaining marital fidelity. Number 8, you shall not steal, respecting the property of others. Number 9, you shall not bear false witness, telling the truth. And number 10, you shall not covet, controlling desires for what belongs to others. Okay? And with this, there's modern debates and perspectives about the Ten Commandments, while the basic moral tenets, like not stealing or murdering, are widely accepted by people of all faiths and secular backgrounds. These are ongoing discussions regarding their application. Sabbath keeping, the fourth commandment, observing a strict day of rest, is the primary commandment that is debated, as differing interpretations exist about how or if it applies in the modern era. And public display. The placement of the Ten Commandments in public spaces, courthouses, and schools remain a frequent subject of legal and cultural debate in the United States regarding the separation of church and state. Okay, well, this is the completion of this life lesson. I truly hope it helps someone to allow God that created us in your daily life to help you move forward to build a true and happy life. Please donate to the channel. Sow into me as I sow into you. We are choosing to build a life of true happiness with God that created us. And thank you for donating. If you would like to donate to the channel, the contact information is available in the details or description below. And remember, during your pursuit of happiness, don't let anyone tell you you can't have a beautiful life. Protect what makes you happy and continue creating your reality. Don't allow the unambitious people or people that want to control your life stop you from building your beautiful life. Okay? Thank you for the like, subscribe, comment, and sharing this life lesson. And until next time, take care and keep building that life of true happiness with God that created us.